Hello and welcome back. The other day I was web surfing as usual, and one article attracted my attention. It was about Mr. Bill Gates. He is now investing huge amount of money to Ginkgo, supplement production companies. They have this section that is now focusing on making fake meat, simply speaking. So today I would like to discuss this meatless meat, whether it is good or bad. Okay, not from animal rights point of view, which makes you feel uncomfortable. I know it very much, but from Bill Gates' point of view, and then move on to my own point of view as a specialist. My name is Dr. Samurai, professor specialized in international social pathology, and also I am an active prison counselor for 20 years experience. So I would like to discuss it from down under. There's this phrase I always open up my classes at the prison, which is I always try to tell you my true voice. That's one thing. And the second thing is I know we cannot live like what is going on in TV. Beautifully and no making mistakes. That's what I usually say. So I would like to do it the same way here. Okay, now let's get back to our topic. I do understand why animal rights point of view makes most of you uncomfortable, because you kind of secretly feel guilty of eating meat because you know it is killing living animals. You are too addicted to the delicious taste of meat to quit. So when they start to talk about animal rights thing, you are automatically offended and project, put forth your own weakness on the other people. Like, are you 100% vegan and stuff like that? What about eating fish? And plant is living stuff too, I do understand. So let's forget about that general discussion here. I would like to go deeper. The article I was attracted to, saying Mr. Bill Gates is not a vegetarian at all at this moment. He seems to have tried to be vegetarian 20 years ago, but he quit. He made it clear that his most favorite food is hamburgers. Very interesting figure. But now he has made up his mind to invest a lot of money into this developing meatless meat. In other words, meat developed by biotechnologies. To be very honest though, why he is doing that, I think once he earned the most amount of money in the world, right? So now he wants to make a revolution. Money he is already satisfied with. Now he wants true respect and fame. That's my guess. But he is now a worldwide known philanthropist, right? He actually said he tried out fake chicken tacos, but he is a very critical person, and that's partly why he became so successful as a business entrepreneur, right? So he was very critical before he tried that meatless tacos. The result? He said he couldn't tell. The reason he is trying to do this thing as his life mission is, if the temperature goes up by 2 degrees, it will make this earth unlivable. So he wants to stop it. And I was surprised to know the growing animals for meat is actually producing more gases to push up the global temperatures than the sum total of cars and planes and factories and all those human activities. Can you believe this? This meat production is one of the biggest causes why global temperature is going up. So he put it like this: too much meat is killing the planet. That's what is the base of Mr. Gates' reason to invest so much money into this meatless meat direction. I watched this YouTube video created by Mr. Mark Robert, making it very simple. He is a young gentleman and he tried, Mr. Gates, trying out eating plant-based hamburgers and barbecues and stuff like that. And he wanted to see how he reacts. This video I watched was made earlier than the articles in 2020. And when he tried plant-based food, his reaction was like, oh, it is getting better. Much better than the old style meatless meat. Because now they use this secret ingredients that makes plant meat taste like real meat. Do you know the name of it? It is called heme. H-E-M-E. You put it as one of the ingredients and it tastes like real meat. And there was this scene at some kind of steak restaurant, and families were, without being told, eating this fake meat hamburgers and stuff, and asked their impressions. And the kids are very honest, right? These hamburgers are extra juicy and stuff. And then the interviewee kind of disclosed that actually it is made of no meat. And they go, wow, out of words. It did taste real good to the kids. But I took it that Mr. Gates is still not satisfied with the plant-based meat, and he is into biotechnologically developed meat. Tastes real meat because it is developed based on the meat cells. That said, I am pretty much in agreement with Mr. Gates' efforts and his own ambition to try to make this biggest revolution on earth, that switch real meat to biotechnologically made meat and save this world. And I think he wants to his name remain forever in history and stuff. I like that. I like that ambition very much, because the statistics shows when you get wealthier, you have a tendency to go for meat more, much more. That means a lot of people all over the world, Africa, India, China, Brazil, and South America, Central America, and all that, they were admiring American style of eating meat as for their dishes. And to be very honest, we were brainwashed that meal must have meat as its main dish to be called meal, right? And talking about my own country, Japan, it is much more terrible. I guess it comes from the poverty right after World War II. Those generations experienced extreme poverty, so they have this very strong obsession with eating meat. So I kind of have a hunch that we could be eating more meat than American, per person. Because every channel we watch at night, they show like a binge eating, like this thick hamburgers, how many of them they can eat, when this big steak, how many of them can you eat, and stuff like that. So meat is becoming just a thing. That said, I like to move to my own conclusion. Just now I mentioned Mr. Gates' basis that too much meat is killing this planet, right? I am in 100% agreement with that. But from my own expertise as international social pathologist, one of my expertise is the relationship between the environment and the human personality, especially childhood environment, and what kind of crimes this child could later cause and stuff. I'm talking about serial murders and mass murders and those extreme types of crimes. That was my first research topic. Okay, here comes the values of my video. Very simply put, serial murders are caused by abuse, and mass murders, including mass shootings, are caused by neglect. Abuse produces serial murderous personality, and neglect produces mass murderous personality. I'm telling you a little bit of the detail, okay? Especially if you were placed under aggressive environment, especially during the first 3 years. You know the phrase, the soul of 3 years lasts for life and stuff like that, right? That is scientifically true. Because during those 3 years, indeed it is the first year and a half or so, their brain is still developing. Synapses are connected during that period. So what they experience during that first 3 years directly affects what their brain is going to be like. That's why it stays for life. Okay? When they are exposed to violence and arguments and dangers and things like that, that stays with them. And they are pressed to keep on living a normal life, that it is there. And when they hit the puberty, their sexual desires and their urge for violence get mixed up. And they normally start acting out in the middle of the 20s after trials and errors and so long time of fantasies. The same thing, neglect. When you are neglected, you never learn how to be associated with other people. You can never develop that skill, right? So you cannot make friends when you enter school, and highly likely to be the target of bullying and stuff. That's one type, but the other type is like mind control. If the parents' control are too strong to oppress the child's true nature, they have to survive by killing themselves on the same roof, because parents are kings and queens, right? Without them, they cannot survive. So they do not have themselves. No egos of themselves developing inside. So it causes the same result as by simple neglect. They can communicate normally because they are communicating with their parents, although they have been oppressed and through themselves. They continuously do the same thing once they enter society. So what happens? They can never have true connections with the other people like it was with their parents. So although they look like they are mingling fine, making friends and having a happy time, they are completely lonely inside. And when time comes, they feel like they are too tired to live in this world with which they have nothing in common. So they are going to suicide by involving so many others who they think are meaningless to live. Do you understand? This is like a murder suicide. But anyway, like I said, abusive environment leads to serial murderous minds, and neglect type of environment leads to mass murderous minds, including mass shootings. The reason I told you this is going back to what the Mr. Bill Gates said. Too much meat is killing this planet, right? Now we are talking about lifespan is becoming 100 years physically, but mentally nothing has changed. People are becoming more and more selfish and possessive. No mental growth as their bodies does. So what I'm saying is even if it did not happen during childhood, you were surrounded by dangerous environments, surrounded by people of selfish mind and ulterior motives, and those who embraces aggressive urges. We cannot become social animals anymore because society is too dangerous to live. That said, this meat-eating habits necessarily includes this abusive and neglectful environment for animals. And in the end, we murder them, right? So the process of producing meat includes all kinds of evil acts that are not allowed to do to other people. So we are compartmentalizing this aggression only for animals. At the same time, try to live peaceful life among only human beings. Theoretically, compartmentalization can be effective only for a very short time, and it doesn't last that long. That is why those war veterans Once they come back to civilian lives, they can never be back to be old them. They try to compartmentalize their war experiences in their mind, but they cannot do that. You know, compartmentalization is very fragile. Individually so, and socially too. This is the society. This is what we are doing to animals. And we keep doing that for a long time, as if human civilization only runs at the expense and sacrifice of other animals. That way, violence and discrimination that is rampant in dealing with animals will never disappear in human society. Does that make sense? What I'm saying is, it is impossible just to be aggressive to animals and to be peaceful only to human beings. That is impossible, because persona, that is the main personality of the person, it is identical. You know, their behavioral patterns and stuff. The same thing can be said about society. Social persona must be simple, either aggressive or peaceful, no in the middle, based upon who our target is. Listen to this. That is why we are seeing Black Lives Matters. That is why we are seeing current anti-Asian hate crimes. Because society maintains aggression as part of it. Society is approving aggressive acts, condoning it. And that comes up when we are most unexpecting. This is what I wanted to say. So, animal rights people say meat eating is wrong because they are as sentiential. They can feel as much as we do. So we should be thinking things on their side. Bill Gates says, as part of his ambition to have his name remembered even after he died, he tried to change this climate crisis by shifting real meat to artificial biotechnologically made meat. I, as an international social pathologist, insist that meat eating is not good to human society, because that means we are approving violence and neglect and murders. As a professional, I am saying that is the basis of why human beings are aggressive. Our society is based upon violence and neglect and murder. That is not correct. We human beings are like 95% identical to chimpanzees, and chimpanzees eat 95% of the times only plant-based food. They eat meat only 5%, but they only chew and spit it out during the time they try to attract other females. So we are naturally designed to be herbivorous, plant-eating animals. But now we are actually meat-eating monkeys. This acts completely against the law of nature, is messing up the climate balances, and I am saying this is messing up our minds too. And this aggression to animals is shifted to human beings when it is suitable. So my conclusion is, I think to support Mr. Gates' efforts to change the whole world from eating murdered meat to biotechnologically developed or plant-based meat is a good thing. My main concern is making the world the peaceful place for everybody so that we can enjoy only one time only chance on this miracle planet. This is it. If you like this kind of stories and you would like to get the answers to the outstanding social problems, please click this yellow and green Lucky Charm logo or my Dr. Samlai logos that shows up the last 20 seconds of this video. And I am uploading twice a week, but I cannot say when for sure, so you'll get notified when it is up. Okay, thank you very much, and please think about the things I told you here, and have a wonderful time until next time we see you here. Okay, bye bye now.